Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing The Challenge Allstars 3 co-host, Michelle. How are you, Michelle? How do you enjoy the episode? Give it all to me.
Yeah, honestly, I can't wait to get into it because I can't even say an overall thing because I loved every moment of both episodes. It was so satisfying. And when you ask me what did I loved everything. There wasn't a single thing I did not love. Every part of the episode and the way that this season is, like the structure of it, it's literally like if I could have dreamt of a perfect season, this is what's happening. So, yeah.
I have a hot
Amazed.
take, though. My
Okay.
hot take is I agree with you. I loved almost everything about this episode. But I'm not feeling Kailah. I really am not feeling her.
Of course not. But like, don't you love that? Like, don't you love that, like, Kailah's there being the worst as she is?
And I'm not that big of a fan of Sylvia either. I'm just like, bleh.
Oh,
But
so I am a Sylvia.
I'm more
fan.
like Sylvia than Kailah, but like we'll get into some of my irritations with Sylvia this recap as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So Sophie, the reason why I'm late is because I was doing a watch party over on Twitch. And so I just watched right now those 2 episodes. So if you want to go back and watch them there on twitch.tv/reality realness with 3 S's, you can watch the first 2 episodes right there. So from now on, I will be doing it most likely during the day. But today I have like a whole thing that was happening during the day. So I wasn't able to watch it live during the day. So I did it at 9 after Survivor. And so I didn't realize it was going to be this long and all that jazz. So that's what's going to be going down. So if you want to watch it then on Wednesdays, sometime before the episode, I will be doing a watch party. Okay. I heard the next season of the challenge will feature some cast members from Allstars 3. It's been rumored a bit. It has been rumored. Hello, Diva. All right. So I love the entrance of this episode. Like when people were coming in, they looked, do you know, like, whenever you see like movies where they're going to be playing like a murder mystery or something like that, and everybody's been invited to the manor and someone's going to die. You know what I mean? Like that's what I felt like was happening. Like everybody looks so good, so dressed up coming out of the limos.
And can we talk about Veronica and Tina being the first ones to arrive and just
they're the stars,
the legends, the icons, Veronica and Tina. The amount of stuff that they provided for us just in these 2 episodes alone, and will continue to. And just, I love that they were first. It was everything to me. I was like, everything they say, like, I don't know, it's just so relatable and it's so nostalgic and it's everything. It's serving.
Totally agree. And I love that they've been friends basically for 20 years, since 2002 is when I believe when they first met. And like, that's freaking awesome, in my opinion. I laughed hard when Tina's heel got stuck in the the tiles or the wood slats down by the pool. I laughed a little bit there. So Mark comes out next and he's also dressed really well. He just looks so sophisticated, and like I was just so into how everybody was dressed up.
Me too. I was
wearing
obsessed.
The outfits. What about when Mark laid on the bed and he had his feet pointing out and he had his price tags on the bottom of his shoes?
Yeah, that was just so cute. Oh, Mark.
I totally laughed hard. So Kailah has her little package and she's like, well, I'm known to bring the drama. Is that what she's known for? I didn't know what she was known for.
No, to me, she's known to be surrounded by drama, just in that, like, she's had physical fights before, like with Melissa. She's had messy hookups. She's had messy fights. She's yelled at someone. She's also been yelled at, a la Nelson. So she's kind of been involved in a lot of dramatic things. Would I say, oh, she's a drama? No, not really. I would just say that she's kind of like, she's one of the sort of mean girls, catalyst, but also like wasn't in the, like, when she was a rookie, like she was a rookie that did speak her mind and was a presence and made it that she would always be recast because she will bring something to the table, which is more than can be said for some people in the main season. You know what I mean? So like, I will accept it. Do I want her to do well or win? No, I don't care. But like, having her in the mix will do, as we've seen this episode, kind of create some stupid shit. And like, I always enjoy it. So
We got some more people joining us. Hi, Eddie. Thank you for being here. Hi, Taj. So lots of people compared this entry to the intro for the Inferno 2. I don't remember specifically the Inferno 2, but whatever, if it's referring to something else, like, I love it. I thought it was just so nice seeing them look so dressed up and so good and so sleek. DM Rock says, I heard 38 was going to be man-woman theme with Ride or Dies as the theme. Yes, we have heard this as well.
I roll, but that's for another day.
Soon, another day soon,
Yeah,
maybe like 2 months. This season 3 cast, them don't sound like they belong on the series. Sylvia, Kailah, and Nia. I feel like Nia belongs on more. Maybe it's because like I don't.
But it's funny because Nia is the one who never competed in a final. She qualified for a final. And that's what he said.
He said made it to made it to
no,
a final,
he said qualified.
Qualified? Okay. So yeah, he did qualify.
Yeah, but she's the only one that really doesn't like fit in terms of she didn't compete in a full final. That said, I like her obviously way more than the other two. And like, I'm happy that she's there. I honestly do put Sylvia. Okay, Sylvia is a little young to be in this cast, I think, in my opinion. She should have gone back to the main season and stir some shit up there, make it more exciting there for a bit longer, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want her energy with the OGs. Like, I don't
know. I mean, she has a respect for the OG game, I think, in terms of like the scheming and she yells and she's she's a little bit of the Tina vibes mixed with a little bit like she has that I don't think she's going to make all the best decisions this season for sure. I think she's going to blow up when she shouldn't and make some mistakes, but you can't deny that she's a competitor and like she does well when you don't expect her to do well and then flops in like important moments sometimes.
I guess what I don't appreciate, I would take Sylvia on the main season. I would prefer to have more OG people with that vibe. Like I like anybody that didn't come back from season 1 or season 2, I would prefer them to have come back over Sylvia and Kailah. I don't mind Nia because I haven't seen Nia's vibe in like 7-8 years, but the other two I've seen recently enough and I never really cared for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like, I don't want Sylvia to be taking out Tina. I don't want Sylvia to be around. I'd rather Tina be around. Yeah, but I do kind of,
I don't know. It fits with the OG way of the challenge, which is like, there's always got to be a couple people that you're like, why are you here? Like, they're always a little bit. And the reason that they're here, in my opinion, is because they stir up drama. I don't think they're here because they are true OG Allstars. I think they're there because they don't want to cast all
young
the same
people on the show just to make the old people look bad, I think. A little bit.
Well, but they aren't making them look bad. So like it's, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to succeed in that if that's what their goal is, but
that's what it feels like. Rachel, Coral, Tina, Veronica, Evelyn for a future All-Star season. Yes, like get those
I'm also
people on, please.
I feel like a lot of OGs probably said no as well. Like, I'm sure there were other people asked before Kailah and Sylvia.
So Taj, people have been arguing about this fact, and it seems as though she did qualify, and the first part of the final was that battle against, it would have been against Nani. And so that was part of the final, that first kind of purge that happened. That's what people have been saying to me, so that she did actually qualify to start the final, but she never actually started the final. She went home instead. So I think it's a bit semantics, but that's what people have been educating me and saying. And then we also hear the terminology with TJ saying that people have qualified to go to the final. So yeah, the elimination though, it was part of the final is what people has been telling me, if that makes sense. Apparently. How entertaining was that? That was so good. Like, oh my gosh. I know Coral, maybe one of these days will say yes. Maybe it'll come. Kailah known for peeing in the bed and Jenna sidekick. Yeah, that's kind of it. And having a weird thing with Bear, like,
yeah, that was unfortunate.
And having honestly the fights with what's her name, Cara Maria, when she had blue hair.
Truly say that I have never rooted for Kailah, and even people I dislike, I've rooted for them in moments. but I
I've
have
rooted for Sylvia at
never.
times.
I would
Exactly.
say I rooted for Kailah when Nelson was being a piece of shit towards her.
Sort of. Yeah.
That's the only moment that I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm on Kailah's side here.
Of
Anyway.
course, definitely I was on her side there, but I agree with you. I've never really rooted for her. Sylvia, I've rooted for in the past, so
Yeah.
that is true. So Wes and Nehemiah and Melinda come in. Wes just wants to ruin the fun-loving nature of Allstars, and I'm like, you're not ruining it, Wes. You're not ruining it. But I do find it very interesting. So now that you've probably seen more posts now with this rivalry with Wes and Yes, and we're starting to see it happen on this episode. And is there something more going on that we don't know? Because like I do feel like Wes kind of started it, and Yes is just retaliating and has had some power. You know what I mean? And so I'm curious as to what you think as to why.
Yeah, well, we'll
Wes,
talk as we get to those
when we're in,
moments
okay,
because
perfect.
yeah, I don't know, but I am very into the rivalry. I'm very into
It's
it.
perfect.
It's great.
They're Yes, Wes.
And of
Like
course,
it's
they're completely opposing types of players, and so of course they're not
absolutely.
going to respect each other's game. And
And
what
they're
I
both
appreciate about it,
winners.
and this is what I love about Wes, is that Wes creates his own reality and goes with it till it's true. Like he's not great. He's a shitty person and not a good player, and everyone's wrong. And he believes it, and he has that, right?
Yeah.
And then equally, Yes is like, I don't respect this. Like, screw you. I'm always on Wes's side. I'm 100% on Wes's side, but like, whatever. I love the rivalry. It's great.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Tyler shows up. He says that he brought Tundra along, so that could be fun to see his alter ego. We see the champs come in, Jonna, MJ, and Wes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, and Yes. I wrote down Yes, Wes, not Yes, which is going to be a problem if they're having a rivalry. So I thought it was also really interesting, the little segment where Kellyanne's talking about how she's so excited to do coffee enemas with Tyler. What?
It all seemed so random, and then by the end of the episode, I was like, "Oh, they were just trying to add in every Tyler moment they could."
Oh, right, because it's
That's the way I saw it. At the end, I was like, "Oh, right, that's why the coffee enema." Because why are people randomly talking about him? Like it seems so out of place.
yeah, it's like there's a lot of
I
Tyler
think
content when he doesn't seem to have really that many friends, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So Cynthia obviously hasn't been on in a while. We kind of remember that it was like 20 years ago was the last time that she was there. Um Nehemiah, though, seemingly wants to shoot his shot, thinking that she's aged like a fine wine, laughing with Latarian. I was like, that's a cute little moment, you know?
Yeah. And I loved Cynthia's intro. I really like that she just has a great legacy about her, and I really didn't know much about her. And I don't know, I just loved, we'll get into it, but I just really loved her, just the way she speaks and like her confessionals, and I really liked the journey
She's
of the
great.
episode for her. Yeah.
Definitely great. Nehemiah and Jordan, apparently they got to know each other a lot better. We definitely saw a while ago them on the boat and stuff like that. So are they a thing?
This is Kate. I obviously heard the rumor that they hook up on the season. I didn't realize they were coming in as a thing. Like,
Well,
they
remember
are
we saw that they showed that video with them on the boat, like
yeah, but
when they rekindled things.
But I thought, I don't know, I didn't think they were going to come on the season like arm in arm, we're a pair. Like, I was very like taken aback by it, especially now because I think, well, I mean, it happened a while ago. Now I think, there's rumors he's cuddling with Laurel. There's just, all these things. But yeah, I'm like, the segment of them coming in was just really like, oh, it's like Jordan just looking unhinged as ever.
I'm here for this. It's just such an unlikely duo, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny Bananas was supposed to be on this season, but I think that he wasn't going to get the amount of money that he wanted as an appearance, I think, or something to that effect. So he didn't make the appearance. Christy loves Yes versus Wes as well. Both strong yet different. Very good dynamic. Absolutely. And we need our villains and heroes to have a nemesis. So I want to see who prevails, which is going to be very fun to have. That's always going to be an undercurrent, is that rivalry. And there's going to be other rivalries that's going to have a little undercurrent. So I'm excited to see how all the other ones also unfold, which is very exciting. Your take on the Theo, Laurel, and Polly beef. Have you heard about this?
No.
So Theo posted something about, and it had like Polly on the ground when he gassed out in the final. I didn't read the whole thing, but he posted that, and then it's just started this whole like beef thing with Laurel. Laurel, actually, I have what Laurel said.
Is Laurel against Polly or against Theo?
I think she was siding with Theo, if I remember. And like now Polly was kind of coming for Laurel about like Cara Maria's a better competitor than you'd ever be type thing.
God,
that stuff.
That shit is so tired at this point. Like Cara hasn't been on a season for so long that it's like, regardless of whether I obviously we've talked, I would like to see her alone come back. It's just like, this is tired. Like, get over it. Stop.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but hold on. So
wow. She is so real.
Yes.
Like, I would love to have seen her instead of Kailah or Sylvia. You know what I'm saying? And 100%. And you know what? I'm sure she's been called, and like it will happen, but I'm just taking the win that like, other than those people, it is like a perfect cast.
It's stacked. It's stacked. It's great. It is
stacked. It's stacked. Anyways.
Thank you for the super chat, Sophie. So no Paula or Cara Maria or Laurel for this season. No, I wouldn't mind seeing Paula come back again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I don't know if I'm ready to see Cara Maria yet, but I'll see Laurel for sure. So 2 out of 3, I would be so happy to see either of them. There are a lot of winners or finalists that they didn't call for this season. Who knows if they didn't call or if things just didn't line up. There's a lot of probably things that go into taking time off of your life to come and do these challenges. So, no. Does Zach qualify as an all-star? No, he's not. He's not good enough for anything. He's never
gonna come back, and he shouldn't.
I don't think he can. He has too much hate, and I think that he realizes that him coming back would be, he'd have to really turn a new leaf, and I don't know how that would happen. Mm-hmm. So Dabu says Nia was asked to do the first All-Star. She was nervous to do it. Then Jordan agreed to do it to have her back. Okay, interesting. Thank you for that intel. Hey, she finally graduated, so hopefully she has time. Oh, from vet stuff? We're talking about Laurel?
Yeah, probably.
Very cool. So who else do we have? So we have the party montage. Obviously, we're having like the music is fucking fire, like we expect it to be on Allstars. Then we see Wes on the treadmill, really setting the tone for the episode, for the season. Flashbacks of all of his rivalries, and his confessional. He's just talking about how he's coming here to like do what he does best. He's so freaking cocky, and like. Sometimes I can't get behind some people that do it, but whenever he does it, I'm just like, I let Wes be Wes. Wes, you do you. Whatever you want to do, Wes. I'm here for it.
I love it because he's chaotic as a player, but is smart and can back it up. Mm-hmm. So I love it. Then
I wrote down, I don't care about Sylvia's confessionals.
I mean, her confessionals aren't the greatest. Just give me more Tina forever.
Right?
Tina's confessionals... she has this one-liners. She just says the things, and she has no bound. Like, she just is not self-conscious at all. And I just love her so much. I don't know. This
Me
episode,
too.
I was like, both episodes, I was like, I love you. Even with your poor choices, I love you.
Exactly. Like I'm so happy to hear anything that she does. I'm here for it. And I guess it's very different from Sylvia. Everything that she does, I'm like, I'm not here for it. So it's just, putting them beside my favorites, I guess, is why it's standing out more than like they're not. So we get to the daily. We learn that's going to be an individual game. It's going to be a male and female winner splitting for their share of $500,000. And this one is called Tunnel Vision. So I did see beforehand that this was going to be the challenge. I guess they posted something on like MTV.com or something. And so what they have to do is they have to kind of in heats. So male heat, female heat, they go to these little squares and they have to look at a puzzle board on the other end of a field and go back and recreate the order of these different puzzles. So what would your strategy be to complete this one?
Once I saw it, okay, I think my strategy would be look and I would memorize the top 3 and I would go in rows of 3 because looking at how long it took most of them, I still would have been much faster. At first, I was like, oh, look, I would try to actually just memorize it because I'm pretty good with memorization. That said, I probably would have ended up having to go back and forth a couple times. But seeing the way they performed, I think if I just focused on literally 3, memorized 3, go back, do them, do the next 3 and build it up, I think I would have probably been like at least middle of the pack.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what's the best strategy. And as you started talking, I was thinking what I would try to do. I mean, this is what I'm thinking now, but is maybe kind of memorize the whole thing, right? So like I memorize the colors. So like orange, purple, blue, orange, whatever it was, right? So do those, it was only 9 pieces, right? Or was it 12? Was it 9?
I think it was only 9 or 12. Could have been 12, or whatever.
So say it was 9 and see if I can kind of guess the colors, right? Like at least get the colors down and just do like maybe a random like check, you know what I mean? To see if I got it. So hopefully I'd have the colors all correct and then maybe go back and fix like the actual different shapes on them. You know what I mean? And so like that's I think how I might try to do it. I don't know if I'd do it line by line or I wouldn't do it one at a time, but I'd do at least like all the color and then go back and switch the different.
There was just a lot that like had certain color, like a bunch of different varying of colors within each other. So it's like, yeah. But I agree. I also might try that. It depends.
Because I was just thinking, like, getting it. I think that the biggest problem that people were having was the base color. They were all focusing on the fishes or the monkeys and like making sure they had that, but then they didn't have the base colors correct. And so I was thinking if you started with the base colors and maybe try to memorize some of the other colors in like one go, it might be easier just to finish the rest. But I don't know. I'd have to probably trial and error it. So Sophie says you were probably fainting this whole episode whenever Wes was on camera. Were you?
Yeah. No, I was just so happy. I was so happy. Yes.
This is
we know Beth.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Well, we do see in the trailer preview somebody goes out in a stretcher. Could you tell who that was?
I think it was because obviously if it's Beth, it's going to be a woman. Based on what I saw of their legs and part of their stomach, my guess is that it is either Jonna or maybe Kendall. It looked like long-ish legs. But it was so quick.
I couldn't tell who it was at all.
Yeah, it could also be Jemmye. I don't know. We'll have to see. But whatever. I'm excited that Beth is coming. It'll be so fucking. She'll get put in right away. Like she'll come in and they're gonna throw her in because it's
Absolutely,
Beth.
and then she's probably gonna be out.
She's probably gonna be out, but like she'll be there for a moment. And it'll be hilarious and great.
So Sophie thinks that the casting for a future All-Star season would be the girl that almost killed Veronica. Julie, but she's apparently causing a lot of stuff going on in her homecoming season. So they're doing a Real World New Orleans homecoming, and apparently Julie is still Julie. So I definitely actually want to catch up on that. Now that I'm on like the Paramount Plus train right now, I'm going to catch up on those.
Yeah.
Veronica, Beth, and Tina in the same season. That will be awesome. That will be messy. And it's probably going to happen. So basically, I didn't hear what they said for the winner. So I just wrote down winner, and then the losers go straight into the elimination. Oh, no. He didn't tell us yet. Okay, that's what happened.
Yeah, he hadn't told us yet.
So I asked what your strategy would be. I love Tina saying that like you're looking at peepholes at a strip club. I was like, that's exactly what the boys look like they're doing. Like these prepubescent boys trying to take a little peek, like the women's locker room or something in those like 90s movies. So everybody starts checking. Wes checks and he thinks that he's got it. He's wrong. Everybody starts checking. But Wes does win the first one. Second up is Yes. Third is MJ. Fourth, Darrell. Fifth is Nehemiah. And that's all I wrote down. Syrus comes in last. No surprise from either, well, from me anyways, because I think he was our last picked on our, I think you received him or somebody received him last, right? Yeah, Fanta. So I was not expecting Syrus to do super well this season, even though I do think he's very strong and he's a beast and I like him, but I wasn't expecting him to do great. But we do see Letarian kind of motivating him to like, you could do it, but he still came in last. So then we see Kailah taking in her confessional and aging. She's like, I'm going to probably do really fine because all these old people here and I have better eyesight than both of them, all of them. I'm like, okay, we get it. You're 10 to 15 years younger than most people on the season. But it's like,
at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I'll say it and I'll say it again. Kailah does not have the drive to win. When it comes down to it, if she's in an elimination, she will lose because she doesn't have that thing that will turn on. And if she wins something, it's just because she's like, oh, like I'm actually like
good.
okay at this. And there are so many, it depends. All she has to do is get thrown into anything that's like the one that we saw for this elimination, like the crawling one or anything that requires like you're really like giving it all against someone, she's never going to win. I honestly would put anybody against her and put my money on the other person probably.
That's true, Caitlin. I did forget about this. I forgot about it when I was watching as well.
So I was
like, come on, Syrus. And then people that I was watching with were like, he's colorblind. I was like, that's true. I did forget about that. And I did forget even right now. It's kind of unfortunate that people that are colorblind kind of get screwed in these type of challenges where the colors are very similar in like tone. I have a friend that has no sense of smell. And so if she drinks, say, Gatorade, everything tastes like the exact same flavor of Gatorade. And that's kind of how I feel the palette of those colors are all kind of the same, but like it's not distinctively really red or really yellow or really blue. Like they're not very obvious. They're kind of in the same mutedness. And so I understand why it might have been very difficult for him to differentiate because they're not striking enough. Imagine CT and West being on Allstars to recreate that funny gif from season 2 with the shoes throwing. I want to see the shoe throwing again. Actually, that was very funny. This is a good question. I don't know. Sophie asked if Mark is still a producer. They might have just taken his idea and run with it, possibly. Yeah. So I was surprised though with the outcome of the women's heat. Sylvia wins this one. She does it on her first check. She wins it. Kellyanne second, Veronica third, Melinda, then Kailah, and Cynthia unfortunately came in last place. Cynthia was another person that was last drafted, just because we haven't seen her obviously compete in a while, being the oldest female. We weren't necessarily sure of how well she was going to compete. And so I wasn't surprised that she came in last.
Yeah.
But I didn't want her to come in last because she has such a cute little face. She's so cute. So the top 3, though, we learned some new rules to this particular season. I guess rules that you were excited by is that the top 3 male and female competitors are going to create the authority. So that means that, so the winners were, as we know, were Wes and Sylvia, and the second and third place were Yes and Kellyanne, and MJ and Veronica. So I thought that was very interesting that 6 people are now going to be safe. All people that are going to have different ideas of who they would want to save, who they didn't want to save. I think it's a good twist. You like it, you said?
Yes, I really like. That's not the part that I like. What I like is that A, if you lose, you're automatically going in.
Done. Check.
And B, if you win, you get to decide along with other people. But then I knew I was like, there's got to be something else for the winners to differentiate them from the 6 that they're going to get. And so the sabotage thing, I love that. I also love that there's like some mystery power that you get from doing eliminations. All of it, I think, is check mark, check mark, check mark. Love it.
I totally agree. Diva agrees with us here as well. Liking the fact that it's 6 people. I mean, I'm wondering it can't last that long because like pretty quickly you're going to
Yeah,
be
of course.
you're going to be down to like not having that many people to choose from. But at this point, like for the first couple weeks, 3 weeks or so, like I think it's a good twist. So based on the website, Caitlin looked at, Mark is still listed as a producer. So he's getting a piece of the pie here. Mark, it's looking
Yes.
cute. Did you say you came to the challenge single? I'm like, all right, Mark, are you ready to mingle with? So they're going to be going down into the arena. So we've definitely heard of the arena as their the elimination grounds before. And as you said, the winner is going to have the power to sabotage a player before the next daily challenge. So love that because as we'll learn, people are very hesitant about having that type of power. So I like that it comes into play, and I like the fact that people that like we learned with yes, he didn't necessarily want to win because he didn't want to be putting anybody into elimination, but now he's realizing, oh shoot, maybe I should have won that because I'd rather have the power to be able to sabotage someone instead of somebody having the power to sabotage me. So I like that it changes up people's strategy a bit. It makes them want to win a little bit more. So, what am I talking about? Mark and Nehemiah are thinking that it's going to be Tyler and Tina. Okay, right. So Mark and Nehemiah are talking in the bedroom, and they're thinking that they're probably just going to go easy. Just the people that finish second to last will be the people that they turned in, or that they decide to throw in. So, what do you think about that being the route potentially that people would take on who they're going to throw into the arena?
Yeah, I thought like that's probably just because it's the first week. And so it's like a smart game move because it puts the ball in the next people who wins corner, where it's like for Wes to go against someone like Jordan right now only sets it up for him to get put in immediately the moment he loses. Where by him doing this move, it's not really a move. It's like, I'm not really making a move. And then if someone goes against him the next week, like he has reason to
And it's
not,
like, oh, well, you started it, or
yeah,
vice
like
versa.
it's
Like I
like,
didn't go after you.
yeah, exactly. Because giving someone a sabotage is different than throwing someone into elimination. A sabotage, I see it as kind of like, yeah, you're a competitor and I want to make it harder for you to win because, Wes says it a million times in his confessionals. Like his version of respecting you is kind of like hating on you in a way. Like he's like, Jordan has fucking won so many times. When he's in a final, he is against all odds. He's so good. Eliminate, like, we got to get rid of him because he's beating our asses. Like he obviously respects Jordan as a player. He's just like, I can't, like, I want him out.
And also, I think that's also why Wes doesn't care for Josh, thinking that they have like some sort of rivalry
Yeah.
because it's like I have rivalry with people that I think are good. Like so, like
Exactly. Like you're not worth my rivalry. Like, it's like, yeah.
So Dabu thinks it would have been better if they interrogated multiple people before voting. Wes would be hilarious. I mean, they probably did do that. We have seen a little bit of people. They have 24 hours to be able to talk to the 6 people that will be making that decision. They just didn't show that much of it. So I do think, though, that they not necessarily interrogated, but there has been opportunity for them to speak to all those people. And we only see the scenes that are kind of pertinent or important, I believe. So they have a party, and I love a dress up theme, sophisticated jungle theme. We see Tyler strutting his stuff coming out. Everybody looks really good. Just as like, did they all bring these costumes, or do you think that Paramount Plus supplied them?
I think they were supplied,
which is still fun. Are
which
you a
is still
costume
fun.
person? I can't remember.
Yeah, I love a costume party every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm down with dressing up. Pretty fun. When Tyler comes out, though, we have everybody bowing to Tyler. It was funny. I also liked that Cynthia didn't want to make it easier for Sylvia, because Sylvia's like, well, who do you want? Like, so you can just like let me know like who you'd want to go in. And I was just like, Sylvia, grow a pair.
Yeah, that was an eye roll for me. That's like a scared, way to be in power. Like, I get what she's trying to do, though. And in my opinion, Jonna does a lot of this as well. Jonna is just a lot better socially at kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, Jonna's a little bit better at it, but it's that thing where it's like, I don't want to make a decision. Like, just tell me what you want me to do. It's just like, come on, like, get over yourself. Just make a decision.
Yes, and, like,
It's
there's
all
Sylvia, like,
stars.
"Oh my god, I won power, and, like, now I'm scared that I'm gonna have to, like, make it." I'm like, then don't win the power then. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like people with power that are gonna act like that, unfortunately. Like, if you're pretending to act like that, that would be one thing, but you're actually acting like that, it's kinda like, meh, didn't like it. But I love that. But I do wish though that knowing the outcome of the episode, I wish that Cynthia had decided who she wanted, so at least
Mhm.
like she would have a really good chance, you know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so Tyler and Veronica are talking because Veronica is one of these power players. And Tyler's like, who do you want to hang out with? Who do you have fun with? And I did think this was a good pitch for Tyler, being like, let's try to get her on side. Let's try to be like, hey, like, let's have the people here that you want to be here with. And that's the best route, I think, to go.
Yeah.
But Veronica wasn't really, it didn't
She
seem like she was
wasn't
receptive.
it didn't really seem like she's receptive to really helping anyone. Like, if she's not even gonna help her actual friend, that's like really good friend in real life, Tina, like, she's not gonna go out of her way to help Tyler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she is very like, I don't know, it did frustrate me in this deliberation that she like, everyone knows you're friends with Tina, so there's a way to play it where it's like, yeah, like, it's clear we're friends. Like, obviously, I'm not here to like hurt my friends necessarily. This is a game. Like, you could say it in a way
Or
that,
what I might say is like, look, we're realizing that Tina's not the best at competitions.
yeah,
Don't you want Tina to be around in case you need to go down against somebody, that you have somebody that's not that great against eliminations? Like, that's
exactly.
maybe how
That's
I might say
that's
it,
a good
right?
argument as well. Exactly. Like, there's something to try. And I just feel like Veronica would be really affronted for someone else that, like, that she considers like a close person, a friend of hers, to not like have her back in that way. And she really doesn't have Tina's back here,
Ooh,
like, at all. I was like,
woof.
"Oh, you're not even going to like do anything." And I think she's a smart strategist, but I was like, it's gonna become a little hypocritical if you then turn around and get upset when Tina or anybody else that you're close to doesn't have your back.
Absolutely. And so before we get to the like going a little bit further into the authority, we do see Jordan, Tyler, and Naya talking and how they all don't really have any allies and how Jordan doesn't really have any allies. And so Jordan is starting to feel like, oh, maybe I can get thrown in here because like I don't have anybody in that group that's protecting me. And Wes wants my head on a spit. So I was wondering if they're going to take that opportunity to take a shot at Jordan, because
Yeah,
who knows
me
what it's
too.
going to be. When they showed us that scene, I was like, ooh, I don't know what's gonna happen here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, so in the authority, though, Jordan is the first name that pops out of MJ's mouth. I was like, MJ, really? Like, I mean, it's fine,
Yeah.
obviously, but like, I was very surprised that he just like allowed that name just to come out of his mouth so easily. Like,
Yeah. He is I just, yeah, he's a troll to me. Like, I'm like, what are he's like, I don't know. I don't like his energy. That's all I'll say.
I did find though, I liked how Wes is pretending like he's not playing that hard, and he's just like, I mean, I don't know if like I maybe we just want to do something easy here, but I mean, but I like the sound of that. But maybe we should just do something easy and like just do like the bottom players or whatever. So I do like how Wes is kind of playing that he's not playing that hard. Like
Yeah.
he's fun. He's fun to watch. He's definitely okay with Jordan, obviously, but Tyler and Tina is easy. And I really just didn't want both Tyler and Tina to be going down. I was
I
like,
know. I was sad about it, but I also was like, well, like, who else is gonna go in? Like, at this point, like, obviously I wanted not Tina to go in. Um, and I didn't want Tyler to go in at all either. Like, Tyler and Syrus always get fucked over at the beginning.
mhm.
And I was like, oh, it would be nice to see something different. But that said, I didn't want Jordan to go in yet at this point. Like, and so there's no one else that I really am willing to sacrifice besides like Brad, who was never gonna get voted in. You know what I mean?
And so Veronica though then goes and tells Tina, and that's what was bothering me about Veronica. Like you're saying, like why aren't you standing up here for your friends when it's the easiest to do it? Right? It's the very beginning. It's the first vote when you have other options. Like use this. Like sorry, I couldn't protect you here when there's actually no options left. I
Yeah.
think that I don't know if it's great for Veronica's game to so easily give up one of her numbers, so easily just allow it to be easy for them to decide that somebody that's good for her game to go home or to go
Exactly,
down.
especially since we see with the second episode with Kailah is like Kailah is not going to back down, and when she's in authority, she will not let Sylvia get voted in. Like
Exactly.
she's making that clear. And while I don't agree, I don't like her strategy,
But she's setting a
she's not
precedent.
she's taking that press. She's like, no, fuck that. And so she's saving someone else who's going to be a number for her. Someone else, So it's you really gotta if you're not going to throw a bone to your people, it's like, yeah, I don't know.
So how do you expect to have people be protecting
Yeah,
you later on? Um,
exactly.
so that was really annoying, but we get to our arena and they're going to be doing crawl brawl. So how much did you want to see like Fessy like having to crawl around in one of those fucking things?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, try this.
So basically crawl brawl, it has like it's like I guess it was like a U shape, and they meet in the middle. They had to pull these sandbags through, I don't know, it's a crawl space, little U shape. They had to meet pass each other in the middle where there's a big sand pile. Now I was thinking like maybe you should just let the other person gas out and like dig themselves out and then just like kind of go fast through it. Because I feel like if you just like waste so much of your energy just pulling out all that sand, and then the other person didn't really do that much, but he could still use that area that you already cleared out. I was thinking like maybe you should just let the other person do all the work.
Yeah, but then they get a little bit of an advantage on you. It's
Little
hard.
bit, but you would just be a little bit less gassed out.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was just thinking, but
Which
to
is true
maybe
because Tyler does get gassed out, so it probably would have been smarter for him not to do that.
super fast, putting all of its energy into it.
Mhm.
And so, it was a pretty neck and neck for most of it. Tina was actually the first heat. So Tina versus Cynthia. And she didn't want Cynthia to lose. She actually became really good friends with Cynthia on one of their earlier seasons. And so, but she's like, she wanted redemption from her other All-Stars appearance. So Tina does pull through and beats Cynthia. So I was happy for for Tina to win, but very sad to lose Cynthia right away,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Boo, boo, boo. And Syrus beats Tyler in this crawl brawl. And so that was also pretty surprising.
I was surprised, but I would have been happy with either of them staying because I think they both deserve the chance. But Cyrus, Cyrus is one of the oldest, and he trimmed down a lot for this, and it seems like he's in good shape for him. And I was happy for him to get a win. I feel like he loses a lot, and I think it's more important to him than it is to Tyler, if that makes sense.
What's that supposed to mean, Sophie? I would lose? Maybe. I'm not really that athletic anymore. Anyways. So they do acquire stars on their shirt, though, now that they've won. What do you think that these stars are going to mean? He only says it's more power and he'll let us know later.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things
Like a
where,
qualifier?
yeah, you have, or it's like if you make, once we get to a certain point, whatever that point is, halfway or through, before the final, whatever it is, I think those stars are going to be either the amount of advantage you get in something, or you can cash them in for like a
Take it to the final.
take it to the final or skip one elimination or something like that.
Ooh.
Or the amount of stars you have is the amount of sabotages you can give in the final or something, or in not in the final necessarily, but like in certain challenges. I think it's either going to be like secret like wins for yourself, like different advantages, or sabotages.
It seems more like sabotage since they kind of introduced some sort of sabotagey thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
might be
Probably that.
power in that way.
Yeah.
Or like yeah, maybe if you have a certain amount of stars, you don't have to go down and defend yourself or something like that. You get to ticket to the final or something.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Deboo. Tyler has disappointed both seasons. Not sure I want to see him again. I'm not sure either. I thought that hopefully he was going to change something up this season, but he didn't get in better shape. He didn't, I don't know, pregame or make better friendships. Like, I don't know. He didn't do enough.
Well, it's weird because like he does have friends, but it's just like it's not enough. It's not enough.
He needs to do better and have better friends. What's Natalie talking about here? Kailah's friend
Yeah,
relationship with Lindsay Lohan?
I don't think they have a relationship because so she was on Lindsay Lohan's Mykonos show.
Oh, the beach club
And
thing?
she was super rude to Lindsay. Like she was like, who do you think you are? Like literally, like, and Lindsay would come in and being like, you guys aren't doing your job, and Kailah would talk back to her. Like it was like very uncomfortable to watch.
Oh wait, I watched the show.
Yeah, she
Like,
was
is there
super
new?
rude to. She was one of the new people that came in, and she was
Oh, maybe I
super
didn't.
rude to Lindsay Lohan. Like it was like cringe and not good cringe.
Oh, so
personally.
I only watched a couple episodes, so maybe I didn't
Yeah.
watch enough. There's only one
Yeah.
season, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to figure that out. That's wow. So Exploder says, "What if the star could be used to protect you from being sabotaged in a daily? Maybe,
That's yeah.
or maybe
That's
you could
possible.
maybe you can steal somebody's sabotage."
Yeah.
So Veronica never gets in better shape either. I'm not a fan of her. I'm okay with her right now. I'm not a fan of the fact that she didn't want to support Tina, but maybe this will be better for them to not be like a known duo that people are trying to break up. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because like if people knew that they were working together and that they're always going to protect each other, like you're always going to want to break them up. And so maybe that's what they're avoiding. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So we got episode 2. I thought all the pool photos looked awesome. Like they just like it all looked gorgeous. We learn that Melinda and Veronica are Tina's friends. So do you think Melinda and Tina became friends after Allstars 2
Yeah.
or were they good friends before? Okay.
I think they became closer during that. Yeah.
Melinda is happy to play with Wes, but she's a bit scared of the target that it's going to put on her, which is, yeah, that's very true. We see Sylvia thinking of using the sabotage on Kendall or Kellyanne. I was like, all right, that's a good way to be thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's smart. Okay. That's not playing scared. So I was happy to at least hear her making some sense here. Then we get a Skype call with Mark and his mom, and I wrote down, oh no, just so worried whenever I see a Skype call, what's going to happen? The people in the chat were like, uh-oh, Skype's call is like, you're probably going into the elimination, if not going home.
Yeah.
So that's what we're thinking, but we're wishing, obviously, Mark's mom healthy recovery, battling with cancer, and I do love seeing their relationship. She's always kind of been around. He's always talked about his mom through his entire journey. So, and she's so proud of him. So I do like him being on the show for his mom, and so I'm hoping that she does really well. So and gets better. But I was worried for him in this game, seeing that segment for sure. And then we get a Melinda hurt her ankle segment. I was like, uh-oh. I think Adrian in the chat was like, yep, we're seeing Melinda and Mark segments. Like, we know what's probably going to be happening. And, we weren't surprised in the end. But I did love seeing their friendship. So Tina was kind of joking around with Melinda and making fun of her and I'll make you a cane and all that stuff. I want to be friends with Tina. So it's just weird.
She just seems like a really good friend. She seems like really, and I don't know why people, like, I think she just comes across really harsh, but she's like a huge softie. Yeah.
I think I'd be like besties with her.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah, definitely.
It should make me laugh. And like, that's enough. That's all you need to get to my heart is make me laugh. For sure. So we get to the daily. Basically, we learned that the sabotage for this daily is that when they get to their station before opening up to do their puzzle, they have a 1-minute penalty. So Sylvia, TJ asked Sylvia who she wants to use her sabotage on. She's like, I don't know. Can you ask Wes first? And he's just like, no.
Like, I was obsessed. He's like, no, what the fuck?
Can Wes go first? But she does use it on Kellyanne, and Wes uses it on Jordan. I do like how Jordan kind of responds like, like, I knew it was coming. He doesn't take it too hard, really. So hopefully this will stay as a pleasant rivalry and it doesn't get
Mhm.
too nasty. So basically, they're on swings. They have to swing back and forth and knock down a ball out of like a box that's like kind of in the distance. Seems pretty challenging, and they were in two heats, so two female heats and two male heats. This was pretty hard, though, it seemed, for a lot of people. What did you think about this particular challenge?
Yeah, it just seemed like if you didn't get the right momentum, like people struggled. It was weird to see like West struggle so much, and some people. I think maybe the more weight you have on you, it might have been harder. It's obviously having some length is useful for the leg and to be able to kick it, but to even get that close, you need to have like enough weight to have momentum, but not too much weight that it like weighs it down in a way. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it was again a challenge, a daily challenge that I liked because anyone could really potentially be good at it. There's still a puzzle involved, but it's really simple. Um, and freaking Tina, man, like I. So were they? They weren't attached to the swing. They just had to sit on the swing.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, or
I was like,
I
how
don't
was she
know.
able to just drop like that? Like,
I think they might have released it. It's because what it seemed like when people finally knocked their ball off, it seems like they got released from something. It didn't seem like
yeah,
people were able to make a calculated jump because ideally you'd wait until you came back forward again and you'd
exactly.
jump. But it
Yeah,
seemed like people were kind of ejected from the swing.
it was just
So
weird. I was like, how is she doing
upside
that?
down. I was like, Tina. People calling it a porn.
Like, she couldn't even pull her body back up, but, I mean, I don't really have any core strength either, so, like, I get
I don't know
it,
how
but,
she
like
got there though, but she should have maybe tried to stay there until the 20 minutes were up, and then at least then if she dropped, she would at least be able to be part of the actual challenge.
Yeah.
Because that's what seemed to happen. There's some people, surprisingly. So Darrell didn't want to hurt his hands in case he was last and he had to go into elimination. So he kind of just stopped swinging and
Yeah.
fell at the 20-minute
I think
mark.
that was really smart, and I like that he justified it. He's like, "Yeah, I'm smart. I'm not gonna do that one." And I think he's learned because remember when he had to do that freaking elimination right before the final last season and how bullshit that was? I think he's just like, "Fuck it. I'm gonna play by these rules, and I'm gonna do what I need to do so that I'm in the best physical shape that I need to be for the hard parts."
Exactly. Um, the other star of this this daily, who do you think it was?
Um,
When
wait.
you remember, you'll die laughing.
Um,
She got a penalty.
she got a penalty.
So she gets the penalty from Sylvia. She gets to the
Oh,
box
Kellyanne.
really.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I forgot. Sorry. Kellyanne was a mess. It's literally building blocks. Like, take a breath. There's also other people doing it around you.
Just take
Like,
a look.
take a peek.
If you're not gonna
Like,
help me cheat, then shut up. Like
she literally is so not calm. It's it's absurd. I don't know. She really fails at random things, but then is good at things you don't expect her to be good at. Like last week, she was second place for the puzzle for the sorry, not last week, but the first episode. She's great at memorizing this thing, but then suddenly like can't put a star shape together.
it, but Jonna did come in first in her heat. Other people that did well. Actually, I don't think I wrote down everybody that did well, but
Well,
I
Kendall
thought
won.
Kendall won. There's two heats though. Oh, one completely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, like won the entire thing. Absolutely. Um, so what was it? LT and Tina were they the last? Is that what happened? Yeah, so TJ lets them know who was, obviously going straight into elimination. So we know that Tina, because she disqualified, and Latarian was quite terrible as well. He did finish the puzzle, but he wasn't great at the swing. I think what's challenging about the swing is usually whenever I've been on a swing, it's on near ground. And so you could use your foot to kind of push you back and give you some momentum. It is hard to get like the actual swinging motion with dangling feet. So I do understand how maybe guys might not be that well adept with swinging because it's not, I didn't see that many guys swinging when I was growing up. And so maybe they're just not used to that motion. But I thought that the women should have done a little bit better because most women that I knew growing up at least played on the swing a little bit. I love swings. So like swing really high and then jump. I don't know why I would do that. Like jump from like very high. Like very high. Why would I do that? Like jump. Like, oh gosh. Very, very, very scary. But so we see Yes wins this and Kendall win this. So they are both safe. TJ obviously has to give a little dig to Tina. I'm obsessed with their relationship. Somebody in the chat was like, they need to have their own show where they just like banter with each other. Because he's like, wow, I've never seen anyone shit the bed that badly. Shut up, TJ. So funny.
Oh,
so the other people that are going to be part of the, what is it called? Authority.
Yeah.
Is going to be Jordan, Jonna, Brad, and Kailah. So I was actually shocked. Well, not shocked by their performance, but Wes isn't in the top 3 male competitors. So I was like, oh, and Yes is in the power position here.
And Jordan.
Like, and Jordan.
I immediately, like, I know that we had the Mark clip, but my first thought was like once Mark didn't lose and Latarian lost, I was like, oh, Wes is going to go in and beat Latarian. Like, that's what's about to happen. Like, there's no way they're not going to throw him in. And little did I know that shit show of a deliberation just saved his ass. Like, thank you, Brad. Why does Brad owe anything to Wes? Brad is with Derrick and with Mark and these people, and now suddenly is like, well, I gotta have Wes's back. What? I was obsessed with it. I was like, you're picking Wes over Mark to save. Like, is Wes going to do that for Brad?
No, Wes doesn't care. He's like, oh, thanks.
He'll do it as much as like, it'll help serve him.
Yes.
And I think that's what Brad's doing as well. He's like, okay, well, Wes wins a lot. So like if Wes wins next week, I saved him. So like, I'll be okay. And like, Brad does do that a lot, but I'm just surprised that he would he tried. He kind of says like, oh, Mark, can we take Mark off the table? But because everyone was already picking people to save and you'd already said Wes, like it obviously just sort of like snowballed. But like to put Latarian and Mark against each other again, like that is just so cruel. Because they're both the oldest and they're both big, strong dudes. And like they have so much heart. And it was just sad. But there's just so many good people. It's hard.
So many.
Throw in MJ.
Right? Wasn't he? He was in
the previous winner.
Oh, no, I thought he was in that group, but he wasn't.
No.
I would have thrown in MJ for sure, but didn't someone protect him? Like, get out of here. So El Boogie says Brad and Wes are close. They're at each other's weddings. I mean, they've been in the same world for years.
Yeah, like I think they're friends, but like they're not like, I just feel like Brad and Derrick were working close together. But it's hard to know with Brad. I feel like his trust changes, his allies change a lot, whereas Derrick's always like Mark's handyman. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people that are clearly aligned, but like if you look at the stat, like Wes is gonna choose Nehemiah over anybody else.
Well, and I think also with Brad is that like, yeah, he might have done this for Wes, but I don't know if he'll let Wes know that he did that.
Exactly.
And so he's not going to really get to cash in on that,
Yeah.
Whatever Wes would give him payback. So he definitely didn't play that right. But before we got to the extra authority thing, we'll go back to it. I did like the moment where Wes, he loves coming in with his tail between his legs and like coddling up to Jordan, kissing his hand. And Jordan is like, oh, you made me a star. Like, I love the playfulness of like their rivalry so far. So I'm enjoying all of
Yeah.
this. What did you think about Tina threatening Jonna, saying like, she doesn't want to have a friend in there, and if you do put a friend down there, like, I'm not going to be happy about it.
Okay, so like, I don't know. My reaction is it not a great strategy for Tina? Yeah, it's not the greatest strategy the way she spoke. However, Tina is one of the greats, okay? She's an icon.
Show some
And
respect.
because I feel like Jonna's first All-Star season, she was very much like respectful of these icons to a certain degree. But now that she's won and she kind of has more of an ego, I just feel like someone saying to you, these are my closest friends. And if you put up my closest friends, I'm going to assume obviously that means that like you're clearly
Against me. Yeah.
against me and against my allies. So like I take that as a dirty move. I'm just telling you, I think it's a dirty move, but you're obviously going to make whatever decision you make. There are other people to choose from. If you choose anyone else, I'm not going to be upset with you because I'm going to say, oh, you protected my allies. Then I would be willing to protect you. That's essentially what she's saying. She's just saying it a little more abrasively because it's Tina. But like, if you take the truth out of it, it's like, yeah, I'm being honest with you. I'm telling you who I'm close with, like who are my actual friends. I don't want to have to go against my friends. You saw what happened last season. So you're asking me, and that's what I'm telling you. Like, she came up to her and asked her, like, I just felt like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't know. That's my opinion.
I totally agree. And like, I think that this is also where people's astrological signs come into play, because like, yeah, she was saying some stuff, but like, we know that Sages and Geminis are both the two blunt signs. And so they just say it like it is. They tell it with no emotion. Like, they're just going to be spitting facts. And we have Jonna, like the Scorpio, is going to get all offended by it. And then I said, shut up, Kailah 3 times after this, because she's like, if you want to have like some power, like, you want to be calling the shots, like do something, like win something. It's just like, shut up, Kailah.
Like, you never win anything. And so
Like,
then she wins a daily and she thinks she's something
she didn't
else.
even
It's
win the
like,
daily. She came in like 3rd. And she's like, but then she's like,
yeah,
after the deliberation, she's like, oh my God, that was really hard. I'm going to just start coming in 4th now. She's like, shut up.
yeah, I don't know. She's an eye roll for me.
Yeah.
I was fine with Jemmye coming in there being like, don't worry, because Jemmye's always stirring shit up. So for Jemmye to come and be like, don't let her get in your head. Like, she just wants to be in the drama, in the know. She's self-aware to know that she just cares about like the goss. And so for me, I didn't take that as necessarily an affront against Tina. I just took that as Jemmye being like, oh my God, like I got to make sure I'm in good with Jonna. I'm going to make sure everyone
Back
feels
her up.
cool. I'm going to back her up because that's what I do. Like, that's what Jemmye does.
And like, and if
She's
she doesn't
messy
have
like
power
that.
next week, she'll back up probably Veronica and Tina.
She
Like,
backs whoever has the power, like that, and she's very open about that. Like, so I love Jemmy's gameplay as well. We haven't seen a lot of her and Veronica together, and I'm surprised by that because I thought that they were really tight. But I'm sure that'll come.
yeah, I'm wondering what it'll come out when Beth comes into the
Well, yeah,
scene
because that's the
and
thing is like Jemmye
middle
and Beth
person.
became friends, and it was like a thing because it's like, oh, Veronica hates Beth, so maybe that caused some friction between them. We'll see.
I don't know. So yeah, so in the authority deliberation, I thought it was a decent idea on Kailah's part, being like, "Oh, how about everybody take somebody off the table?" And so it does reveal a lot of things. And everybody already knows about Sylvia, so she wasn't really losing any obvious, like giving any intel to everybody else. So I thought that was an interesting strategy on Kailah's behalf. I was surprised that people went along with it, though. I'd be like,
Yeah,
how about no? How about we decide who we want to put in and like not reveal all of our cards to people? But
exactly.
they didn't. They didn't. They went with it. Kailah also reminds them about the real world Austin connection that Wes, Nehemiah, and Melinda have. And I was like, what are you like? Who are you to be throwing all this information in here, Kailah? Like, it's
She's
obviously
trying to.
smart, but like,
Yeah, she's just trying to. Yeah, it's kind of smart, but like, I mean, it got Melinda thrown in, so.
yeah, it's
I
gonna
also
be
just think like Kendall is just like such a little sad puppy. Like, she has zero social strategy, and she's just like, so I need to, but like she tries so hard to be like, now she has friends. She's like, she has her loyalty with Kellyanne, their like weird friendship, and she's just like, this is what the people who are going down want. Like, they don't want this person and they don't want these people. And then immediately everyone's like, no, like, I don't want to listen to that. And Kendall's just trying to be like, how can we be like diplomatic? And then they did like the least diplomatic thing ever. And you end up throwing in the fucking Godfather. Like, okay.
Not good. So Melinda and Mark are going to be going in. We see, everybody being told, and Melinda was really upset by it. Obviously, because like she doesn't want to go against Tina. She already went against Tina, and then we see the camera pan to her ankle. And I was like, okay, so this is going to be an issue. Apparently, we see Mark talking to his Mark pillow. These people are nuts. So down at the arena, we know that's going to be Tina versus Melinda. Melinda limps on over, and I was like, oh, is she going to quit? That was the first thing I saw. I'm like, she's not going to be able to do an elimination limping. And she's quits. She didn't quit. She decided that she came back too early. She didn't fully recuperate from the final. And she doesn't want to compete in the arena. So it's kind of 1-for-1 now, with like Tina letting Melinda win, and now Melinda's letting Tina win this time. And so I got really excited when TJ was like, so Tina, we still need to have an arena down here.
Yes.
I was like, Jonnye, I hope you're shitting your pants right now. That's what I was thinking in my head. But he was just kidding.
And also I was thinking, I mean, take from it what you will. I know Tina's on your team, but I think it's only fair because she gets another star. She still gets the 10 points for the elim win because she went down there and she gets it. Even though
if she didn't get the star, I don't think she should get the points.
Yes, but she gets the star, so she gets the points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So now she's got 20 points already.
Yes, Tina. People like being like, oh, Tina sucks. I mean, she's not great this season so far competitively, but she's getting points. So that's what matters. So the boys, though, so Mark and Laterrian are going to be playing Lights Out. And I didn't really understand how they were set up. So they had like a big pole, and they were attached to a pole, and I didn't understand how the mechanics of it worked.
Yeah, I just took it as one of those like you go against, I don't know. It was one of those classic reach for the thing in the sand and you're against each other's body weight.
Yeah.
It was stressful to watch. I was rooting for Mark because obviously, but I kind of was like, Mark's going to lose. They've shown too much of Mark. Like, I was very surprised that he won. And I was happy because, I mean, I love Laterrian and everything, but like Mark's going to do more damage in the season. And this might be the last time he comes back. So like, I want him to get like a good run at it.
I definitely want him to have a good run. I've lost somebody from my team now. I thought it was going to work in my favor, though, when everyone was like, maybe he should turn around and try to run for his thing the opposite direction.
Yes.
And so I did think that Mark was going to end up losing, but he didn't. Unfortunately, it did allow Mark to be able to get enough slack to be able to hit his light. And so Laterrian is going home. So at this point, I haven't done a graphic yet, but I'll do it for next week. So you lost Cynthia and I lost Laterrian. So both of our, like, you lost a bottom, your last pick. Well, you didn't even pick female, and I lost my last pick male.
And then Fanta lost Tyler
and
Melinda.
Which, I mean, we were skeptical about the Melinda pick, right? Because we're just kind of like, just because she did well last season, she hasn't proven herself to be consistently decent. So I wasn't that plus on her. So I'm going to go through the points, and I'll do the points right up, and I'll get us on track with our points this season. Definitely, I love this first episode. I loved all the music. I love seeing everybody come back to play. Like, so happy we didn't lose Tina yet. We haven't really lost anybody that I'm too sad about right now. Like Tyler, maybe a little bit, just because I would like to see him in the game for a little bit longer. But I would rather Tyler go over.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care if Syrus goes.
And if we think about this logically, like if they had thrown Wes in, he would have lost probably to Laterrian just because of mass.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a good chance Wes could have potentially lost.
Well, if he lost to Devin in a similar type challenge, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he might have had more heart in it, and like, just because
Yeah, like
that
I
would
would
be too embarrassing for him. I don't know if he would
Yeah.
let that happen, but it could have been a thing. Well, that was fun getting caught back up chatting about the challenge with you, Michelle. Thank you for being here. Do
Thank
we
you
have
for
any news
having me.
about the challenge 38?
The only news I know is what everyone's heard, that the theme is ride or die, male female pairs. I haven't heard anything else. It just makes me think that Josh and Nani will be a pair, Fessy and Casey will be a pair. Like there's going to be some annoying pairs. Whatever. But I'm still going to watch it and I'm still going to find things to like.
Do you know what I think? I'm
Yeah.
hoping that I like this better, that we're getting the All-Stars first, and then we'll have probably a couple weeks break to go into like the winter of like the Challenge 38. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and also I also think that, there's people who, if you're working with your ally, great. So who are you going to blame, Fessy, when something goes wrong?
mhm,
Your friend again, like you always
yep.
do.
Ugh.
So
So filming starting this month. Okay, awesome. I obviously have heard a lot of different rumors. I think it's actually going to be. It might be an okay season. I'm excited to see what happens. But I'm loving All Stars right now. All Stars is
mhm.
just like the vibe that I need. Like I could watch All Stars for a while. You know,
Absolutely.
so good.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you everybody here in the chat for joining us here on our first recap this season. We will do our best to be 10 p.m. moving forward. Now that we kind of understand it's going to be when I can maybe change the schedule to do the watch party, get that all under control. I didn't really realize it was going to be 2 hours until it was already messing
Yeah,
up
they
with my
didn't warn us it
day.
was 2 episodes. I was like, "Oh, shit." Like, I was
Because
happy, but I was like, "This is more than I expected." So,
right. So like I was always planning on doing it like 9 till 10, and like it would only be 45 minutes, and it would, you know what I mean? But then I was like,
yeah.
shoot, I have to try to figure out an hour and a half. So sorry for the lateness, but we're gonna probably try to do 10 p.m. on the regular from this next week moving forward. And then doing a watch party in the afternoon at some point. So, yes,
Woo!
Natalie, definitely going to recap Love Island. I'll do a recap every day if I can, which I did last season. So, yes, I'm excited about that. Did you see Natalie in my pics that I caught to take a picture with CashApp when I was in New York
Yes.
last week? So that's
I was
fun.
obsessed.
Obsessed. Yes. I actually am slightly excited for the challenge CBS just because I want to see people either fail or and all this, I just want to see how people perform. So I'm looking
Yes.
forward to it. Don't know how I'm going to cover it though. And I should be doing a Survivor recap tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Wow, what an
So,
episode, man.
oh,
Oh,
yes. Oh, fuck.
we haven't
Though.
watched it yet.
Oh, yeah, I did. I did watch it. I did watch it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I started watching these at 9,
Right.
because I didn't want to be doing a
Yeah.
watch party while Survivor was on and then maybe get
Yeah.
spoiled or people, you got the drill. So,
Yeah, I feel yeah. It's always a great episode, but I'm very sad for this episode.
agreed. Thanks again, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel. Be part of the team that loves talking about reality TV, especially the Challenge All-Stars. Like this video and tell us what you think in the comments is going to happen with those stars. I want to hear your thoughts on how these stars are going to play into the rest of the season. Also, well, maybe it would be a spoiler. So yeah, just tell us that. Tell us that, please. And like this video. Likes are really helpful with the algorithm. So like, subscribe, comment, and we'll love you. We'll see you soon. Bye.